Hey friends, it's time for That's Life with Julie, and today is an important special occasion in the Barnhill family as our oldest, Kristen, turns 23 years old. That's right, 23 years old. It doesn't hardly seem possible, not until I think about what I went out and purchased today. Okay, yes, I got her something for her birthday, but I picked up a little something for myself too. And you know what it was? That's right, a new pair of readers, 2.50. Oh my word, that's like a point per whatever you gauge this on for every year that she has been alive and born. And look here, yep, that's right, I didn't have to do that either years ago. The Old Testament refers to a head of white hair, gray hair as a crown of glory, but I'm just telling you right now that I'm going to be coloring my crown of glory for some time to come because I'm that shallow. So anyway, back to Kristen, 23 years old. She's just been a delight 97% of the time to raise and to be with, and I have grown alongside her as her mom. I can remember way back when she was just a toddler, and I was sitting in the living room one evening, and it was at that point in my second pregnancy when it was just almost too much effort to inhale and exhale, and Kristen was just this little dynamo toddler running around, and that evening she kept running to a living room window, looking outside and saying, "Ball, ball, 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 ball." And then she'd look back at me and say, "Mirror mama, mirror mama, mirror mama." And that means "come here mama," of course, for all of those of you who know baby speak. And I was just like too tired, and I was just like, "Yeah, Kristen, hey Rick, why don't you go look and see what she's talking about?" And Rick didn't get out of his recliner. So we just kind of sat there and listened to her, and finally I was like, this child's not going to stop. I mean, she is a firstborn, you know? So I hefted myself out of that chair. I waddled across that 10 by 10 living room of the tiny little house that we rented at the time. And I sighed, and I looked outside, and she said, "Ball, mama, ball." And I looked out, and there was this beautiful full moon just hanging there in the sky, this huge ball. And I scooped her up and I began to smooch all over her, and I looked at Rick and I said, "Rick, she's a genius. Oh my gosh, she's a genius." And she is. She's an absolute genius. She's also very funny, very witty. Sometime in her junior high years during a ball game, we were playing the Beardstown girls, probably basketball, softball. And I'm just telling you, if you're from the Illinois area, in this area, you know what I'm talking about. They put something in that water. They grow them hefty down there. And Kristen at the time, we walked into and was watching the other team coming, onto the playing field and off the bus, and she just looks at me and she's like, "Mom, these girls have breasts." And then she looks down, kind of lifts her head and smiles, and she goes, "Mom, I have nubs." Oh, she has made me laugh so much over the years. We've laughed together. We've cried together a lot. Sometimes not for such great reasons, but more times than not, as we're watching a great movie, Return to Me. Oh, one of the best movies of all time. We can't watch that without tearing up and loving David Duchovny in the process. I have enjoyed my sweet girl so much over the years. And you know what? I was thinking about you and your life. We're not all moms and we're not all dads, but every single one of us has had a mom and dad in their life. And here's what I want to encourage you to do. If your mother and dad are alive, I'd like for you to pick up the phone today, give them a call, and just say, "Hey, I just calling for no reason, just to say I love you." And before you call, think of a memory that you have with them, something that really has stuck with you, that meant a lot, or that you laughed about. And if you have a hard time remembering that, maybe call a sibling if you have one, or someone else who can kind of trigger some of those memories. And just say, "Today I was just thinking about when such and such happened," and share that with them. If your parents, if you can't call them right now, if you're not close enough to drive over and maybe just drop in for a visit unannounced, then send them an email or write them a letter. That would be fabulous, a handwritten letter. If your parents have passed on, perhaps what you could do is to call a brother or sister, someone who knew them, an aunt and uncle, and just kind of talk over those times with them. Because here's the conclusion that I've come to. Kristen with 23 years, and I was just 23 years and 1 month old when I gave birth to her. And here's what I know to be true more than anything. that it is the love that I decide, that I intentionally and purposely pour out into my family, that is returned the strongest back to me. And sometimes I haven't poured it out so much. I struggled. You know, I'm not telling you all the stories about when Kristen wasn't on my top favorite list and vice versa. But we made it through those years. We made it through those times. And I'll tell you why. Because over the years, what I chose to do and what she chose to do is to love one another. So, call your mom and dad, or give them a call, or write, or send them an email. Speak to someone about them. And if by some reason you have no one to talk to, if nothing else, write it down yourself somewhere and give thanks for those that loved you and raised you. And I will see you back here tomorrow.